we are live from. I want to start off with some unfortunate news. A 10-year-old by the name of Justin Wallace was unfortunately killed in Queens in a double shooting. The shooting happened inside a home on Beach 45th Street in Far Rockaway around 9:30 p.m. Saturday. Police said that officers found Justin unconscious after he was shot in the torso. The boy was taken to the hospital where he died. Officers also found a 29-year-old man who was shot in the shoulder. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Sources did identify him as the boy's uncle. Family members told Dylan that they are still in shock, and neighbors who witnessed the aftermath said it was most definitely difficult to watch. He wasn't responsive. They were giving him CPR, and it was very emotional to watch, said Anthony Woods. It was a lot of people, but the cops were pushing everybody off at the scene. And according to the police, the boy lived down the street from where the shooting happened. Also, there was no immediate word on what led to the shooting or a possible motive. No arrests, unfortunately, have been made. And this is a sad situation because all weekend, communities across tri-state area rallied to take a stand against gun violence. So they're getting ahead of the violence this summer as the uptick in gun crimes continues throughout New York City. Communities did take part in rallies Saturday calling for an end to the violence. We are saying enough is enough. We are getting ahead of the violence this summer. And that was said by Stephanie McGraw, the founder of WARM, W-A-R-M, or We All Really Matter. First, a street fair in Harlem was set up around lunchtime alongside the King Towers on 114th Street at Lenox Avenue, steps away from the scene of the two separate shootings on May 19th. We had two shootings just about 2 weeks ago, right on the corner of Lenox. There's a playground there, and across the street, there's a sitting area with people hanging out. NYPD Deputy Inspector Amir Yakatli stated, "It was a reason to pick this block because we understand that there is a lot of crime and gun violence here. And we're telling our people, put the guns down," McGraw said. She founded the group WARM, which partnered with the NYPD to reclaim the neighborhood with activities designed to replace fear with fun. They live here. This is their family. This is their home. And regardless of what's happening in the streets, it's not going to stop them from having a good time, putting out a positive message, Yakatli said. Most of the time, the violence is committed by a very small percentage of the people in this community. These people are here who go to work every day, get up and do the right thing, and NYPD Captain Tark Shepard said. Late Saturday afternoon in Paterson, New Jersey, an audience at a concert showed support for National Wear Orange Day to end gun violence. "We're having a healing concert out here in the courtyard," said Lisa Chowdhury, project director of the Paterson Healing Collective Live. And that's an entertainment and block parties and brought to areas that are hurting. In Paterson alone, we've had a 45% increase, so this is a public health emergency, Chowdhury said. "This is our outcry to the community that we need to pay attention to this public health issue that's called gun violence." Meanwhile, an evening anti-violence march began at the intersection of 143rd and Adam Clay Powell Jr. Boulevard in Harlem. The NYPD says shootings are up by 69% in New York City, with 588 incidents so far this year compared to 347 for the same period last year. We definitely want to give a lot of thanks to all the organizations who did start and help this weekend. Not just this weekend, there are many organizations doing everything every day to stop and prevent gun violence. And next, new weekend curfew goes into effect at Washington Square Park. Despite the nice weather, people won't be able to hang out in Washington Square Park on Saturday night because crowds of rowdy people have been hanging out in the park until all hours of the night. So residents complain of loud music, lots of trash, and bad behavior. Now, a new weekend curfew closes the park at 10 p.m. The Parks Enforcement Patrol says right now the curfew is for this weekend and next weekend. They should do some more curfews in a lot of areas in New York City because especially when the weather gets nice, everybody wants to be louder than what they should be, and people do need some rest, and quiet time is good. Well, what do we got? We got a suspect wanted after a 41-year-old man was stabbed outside residential building in the Bronx. The NYPD released images of a man wanted in connection to a stabbing that was happened in the Bronx. It happened outside a residential building near Jerome Avenue and West 192nd Street around 6 p.m. on May 25th. According to police, the suspect approached a 41-year-old man and they two got into a verbal argument, which then escalated. The suspect allegedly pulled out a knife and stabbed the man in the torso before leaving the scene, police said. EMS responded and took the victim to the hospital where he was treated and then released. Police said that the man that they are looking for is approximately 5 feet, 6 inches tall, and was last seen wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and a blue baseball cap and sneakers. That's going to be hard to find. There's a lot of people who need some more information. So if there's anything else I will update you guys. Next, Ocasio-Cortez endorses progressive Maya Wiley for New York City mayor. Democratic Representative Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez on Saturday endorsed Maya Wiley for New York City mayor, boosting Wiley's chances to establish herself as the lead progressive in the crowded race. Speaking at an event outside City Hall, Manhattan, progressive firebrand Ocasio-Cortez called on voters to come together as a movement to avoid the cities being run for billionaires and special interests. More than a dozen Democratic candidates are vying to succeed Mayor Bill de Blasio at the helm of the most populous U.S. city. The PAC race has so far been dominated by former presidential candidate Andrew Yang, who was the main target of criticism at a televised debate earlier this week. Wiley, a civil rights attorney and former MSNBC analyst, is hoping her proposal on job creation, focus on New Yorkers in need, and plan to transform policing will resonate with voters in the June 22nd primary election. Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, another leading contender and a moderate Democrat, slammed Ocasio-Cortez's endorsement of Wiley. He said they are putting slogans and politics in front of public safety and would endanger the lives of New Yorkers. Adams, a former police officer, said that in a statement. And what do we have? There's still some more. All right, so here's some information on your candidates for the mayoral election, New York City mayoral candidates. And there's some information on pandemic recovery. There was a few interviews on them, and I just wanted to give you some insight on what they said. The Democratic candidates for mayor about the biggest issues facing the city, which is the pandemic. So here's what they said. The next mayor will inherit an economy devastated by the pandemic. And the 8 of the candidates for mayor of New York say that they would help the city recover. Eric Adams stated he will focus on our small businesses to get our small businesses up and operating again. We will look after those over 1 million New Yorkers who are rent insecure so that we can stabilize them. And then we will assist those with small property landlords so they won't lose their homes in the process. Sean Donovan stated, I will make sure everyone can walk into a restaurant, everyone can walk into a theater with an app on their phone that lets them know that it's a safe place and that the restaurant or the theater knows that the person has been vaccinated. Catherine Garcia, art culture, restaurants. When they're strong, that means offices are strong, and that means that the tourism comes back, and that's how we come out of this. Next, Raymond J. McGuire. He stated that the first thing I would do is my economic plan, the largest, most inclusive economic comeback in the history of this city. 500,000 jobs, go big, go small, go forward, focusing on the small businesses who are the lifeblood of this city. Diana Morales, this is an opportunity for us to transform how we operate and move away from an over-reliance on large corporations that come into our communities, exploit our labor, and extract our wealth, and rebuild by focusing on those who own businesses locally. Scott M. Stringer states, we can't open our city the same way we closed it. We have to recognize that in our hardest hit communities, where there was tremendous loss of life, we have to reinvest these neighborhoods to repair the damage that COVID brought. Maya Wiley, I have a plan called New Deal New York, which I can start executing on day one because as mayor, I will have the power to increase our capital construction budget to $10 billion. That just means money that helps us build things we need built and fixing things we need fixed. Andrew Yang, he states we have to get back some of the 66 million tourists who helped support 300,000 of the 600,000 jobs that are missing, as well as all the commuters who are missing from Midtown and other parts of the city. I am definitely one of them commuters because I have not been on a train since the pandemic hit. So let's see what we got next. In the White House, they disavows knowledge of gag order on time leaders in leak inquiry. The Biden administration said on Saturday that no one at the White House had been aware that the Justice Department was seeking to seize the email data of 4 New York Times reporters and had obtained a gag order in March barring a handful of newspaper executives who knew about the fight from discussing it. The disavow came one day after a court lifted the gag order, which permitted a Times lawyer to disclose the department's effort to obtain email logs from Google, which operates the Times email system. It had begun in the last days of the Trump administration and continued until Wednesday, when the Biden Justice Department asked a judge to quash the matter without having obtained the data about who had been in contact with the reporters. Quote, as an appropriate given the independence of the Justice Department in specific criminal cases, no one at the White House was aware of the gag order until Friday night. That was from Jennifer Psaki at a White House spokeswoman said in a statement. The administration also announced that the Justice Department was formally changing its leak investigation policy to ban seizures of reporters' phone and email records in an effort to uncover their sources. President Biden had declared last month that he would not let prosecutors go after reporters' communications data after disclosures that the Trump Justice Department has secretly seized phone data of Washington Post reporters and phone and email data of a CNN reporter. It's simply wrong, Mr. Biden said. I will not let that happen. But Mr. Biden's comment, which came before the Justice Department, notified the same 4 Times reporters that this week that it had secretly seized their phone records in 2020. And that was seemingly off the cuff and contradicted existing department regulations that dated to the Obama administration. Separately, the Justice Department informed USA Today on Saturday that it was withdrawing a disputed subpoena seeking information about who had read an online article about a February shootout in Florida in which 2 FBI agents were killed. USA Today, which had fought the subpoena on First Amendment grounds, said that the department explained that it had been able to identify the person it was hunting through other means. The Justice Department has not responded to questions about who inside the agency knew about the fight with Google and the gag order imposed on Times executives and when. We're about to go into a commercial break. You're watching Millennium TV 24. I am Kim Seabrook. We'll be right back.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium TV 24. As always, I'd like to either bring a special guest or I'd like to do some community work and talk about what's going on in our communities because it's very important. It's not spoken about often. So a lot of people are clueless and blind to what's going on. But there's a very special guest that I am bringing in today. He is Tom Ray. He is from Yonkers. He is also known as the mayor of Yonkers, but he's not actually the mayor. He does more than the mayor. He actually sits with people in the community. He's out there teaching the kids. He's a poet, a teacher, activist. There's many titles, but the main thing is that he is a great soul and he is doing what he needs to do for our people. Mr. Tom Ray, welcome.
Kim, thank you for having me, sis. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you today?
Oh, man, I'm marvelous. Truly, truly blessed on this great Sunday, man. Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You already know. We appreciate your work, so that's why we decided to bring you on. Just give us a little feedback. You know I threw some titles out there, but what do you do out in Yonkers? And let them know who you are. I know who you are. Let them know.
Oh, man. Peace, family. For those watching, much love and respect to you. Thank you for tuning in. I go by the name of Tom Ray. I'm a Yonkers native, poet, author, educator, community organizer, leader, activist, if you want to call it that. But I'm an individual who's seeking change. So I go to where change is needed the most, right in the community where I come from. So that's what it is, man. I'm just a community builder, to say the least. Community builder, a kingdom builder.
That's what I'm talking about, a kingdom builder. What's going on at Yonkers out there since the pandemic? Has things gotten worse out there in the city with the kids, with anything as far as crime? How's Yonkers holding up out there?
Yonkers, honestly, I'm going to give you my perspective about it. I've noticed that here in Yonkers, a lot of the leaders, the organic leaders, they're starting to unite and put their minds together to organize within our city. Mm-hmm. And aside from outlets for the kids and different endeavors for the kids, it's still the leaders have to organize and put things together rather than us thinking that the so-called people that govern the city, rather than them putting something together, it's always the people, man. So we're still out here creating spaces, creating open mics, creating reading programs to service our community. So
yes,
it's
talking about reading programs. I definitely wanted to elaborate that you do have a reading program. Can you give us some background on that?
Absolutely. The Expressive Readers Course. The Expressive Readers Course is a literary program that's inspired to enhance comprehension skills, build public speaking skills, also increase our extensive vocabulary, and also focus on restorative practices where we can teach our kids how to properly conduct themselves in a different environment that they're not familiar with. So the Expressive Readers Course is also a reading program that inspires and encourages our youth to be confident in who they are, most importantly, and it focuses on self-identity as well, teaching self-identity so that our youth know exactly who they are. If they ever had an opportunity where someone comes up to them and asks them, who are you? They have more to tell them than just their name, you know?
Absolutely, right, because you're more than just a name. So when we're taught that, then it's easy for them to find and build themselves up from the inside and then work on the outside.
Yes,
question, with social media and everything going on and the kids have tablets and phones nowadays, is it more difficult to get your students to pay attention in your reading class, or how's that working with the balance?
Honestly, for me, it's more about connecting with them first, and then being able to teach them. So my approach is showing them how transparent I am, where I'm just like them. I come from the same neighborhood as they come from, so they can relate to me, they can speak to me, they can feel comfortable enough to express themselves to me. So when I'm facilitating the Expressive Readers Course or the Who Am I writing experience, it's always an intimate setting because I'm teaching them that there's liberty in being able to express yourself. There's a comfort zone in being able to listen to someone that actually cares for them. And it's not just the kids.
Hmm.
This program has opened up to facilitate towards adults as well, their parents as well, because I also, aside from the Expressive Readers course, there was a program birthed from out of the Expressive Readers course called the Who Am I Writing Experience, where adults and kids get to become aware of who they are.
Mm.
So it's such a divine program that really touches the soul, you know.
Right, right. I mean, writing is for it's a way to express yourself, because there's often times where we can't communicate verbally because a lot of people may not just get it, or you're afraid to say certain things. So you know what? You pick up the pen and the paper and you write some things down and express yourself. How do you help people actually take what they wrote on paper and let it out verbally?
I wanted to before I share that,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to touch on the testimony as far as facilitating the Expressive Readers course in several cities, right?
Mm.
I've had the opportunity to inspire some adults to write a Who Am I poem. And as they wrote their poem, they were crying.
I bet.
It's there's a healing mechanism that's
Right.
engulfed into the Who Am I Writing experience. And to get them to share the poem, you know me to be a poet. So I always open up with my own Who Am I poem
Mm-hmm.
to encourage them that it takes a lot of courage to share.
Right.
And as you're in a
Right.
comfortable space, as
Absolutely.
you're in a space that's inspired by God, you're more than willing to share then, you know?
Hmm. It's definitely about comfort. Comfort. You have to be in a comfortable environment and make sure everybody gives that good energy, so that it is an easy process to let it out and share those personal. Because sometimes it could be real personal, or
Yes,
sometimes it could
yes.
just be about you had a bad day and you want to fix it, things like that. So yeah, definitely who your space, where your space is, who's in your space is very important.
Yeah,
So I already know your
that's right.
energy is good. I already know that you definitely express. That's why it's called Readers Express, right? But
Yeah,
what I
Expressive Readers
did want
course.
to ask, talking about reading, you also have some books. You're also an author.
Yes, yes,
Let me
yes,
find
yes,
out. My
yes,
goodness, we
yes.
didn't even say that in the
Wow,
beginning.
wow. Yes. In 2000, oh man, Kim, thank you sincerely. In 2012, I published my first book, The Thoughts of Ray, From My Heart to Yours.
Hmm.
In 2016, I published Pain, Progress After Its Nemesis. And I'm actually getting ready to release my third publication, which is the sequel to my first book, The Thoughts of Ray, From My Heart to Yours. And it's titled The Thoughts of Ray, the sequel.
Okay.
And it displays my growth as an artist, a poet. It also gives insight to my spiritual walk. And it just gives insight to what we can do with creativity, you
Hmm.
know?
Absolutely.
And I give the analogy, right? When I published my first book, Kim, that was me taking a leap of faith. You know what I mean? Jumping out the window and actually figuring it out on the way down. And my second book was me telling my story, because Pain, Progress After Its Nemesis is an autobiography of my life,
Mm.
with poetry infused throughout the story. So in the process of writing that book, it was healing for me. It was sincere healing for me. And I actually cried in the process many nights writing my second book, because it was such an intimate story, you know,
I believe
personal
it.
story, and it was all real. It was all real, you know. So
And that's the best
and
part of reading or getting into someone's stuff, where we want to see the real. We want to know the real you, and that's the great thing about
yeah,
poetry, that we give the real us, and that's what makes
yeah,
people draw to you. So I'm excited about the new book. I'm ready to read it.
yeah. I am too.
Hmm.
I am. You know, Kim. A sister of mine, a good sister of mine from the neighborhood, she texted me yesterday, and she told me, because she actually supported and got the first book and the second book, and she mentioned to me that my first book got her through a tough time that she was experiencing in this past week, and I was just rejoicing in that moment, because when I put out the first book, I really didn't know what I was doing.
Right, right.
I really didn't have a clue
Of
of
course.
the impact. I just wanted to put out my thoughts. And I've heard several testimonies about my literature inspiring several individuals, and it's such a blessing. You know what I mean? It's really a blessing.
Well, you're definitely a blessing, and that's why, again, we wanted to have you here, you know. And you have a group of people that you work with on the regular, and clear that out of, I can't see your face. You have Miss Shani, Rhythm Speaks Life, Gloria,
Yes,
Coach
lady.
Gloria.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Gloria, I can't remember your business name. Then we have Taurus.
Ambitious Soul.
Ambitious Soul,
Ambitious Soul,
yes.
yes.
Gloria of the Ambitious Soul, and her husband Taurus, who is a major, major background for her, holds her down and holds, you know, everybody, all you guys down. So you group of your collective is awesome. You guys are always on something positive, and I just wanted to thank you for always spreading love, always making sure that, you know, that even residents from outside of Yonkers are taken care of, if you know what I mean. So we appreciate you, Tom. But is there anything else that you want to say to your community before we do wrap it up?
So this up and coming week, I'm actually
Yes, what we got coming up this week? We got,
yes, I got a few shows coming up.
please talk about it.
So yes, on the 11th, me and a great brother of mine, who I have so much history with in the city of Yonkers, we're actually going neck and neck with a Yonkers versus everybody showcase, and we're kicking off the first installment at Cafe 2.0, and that's on Alexander Street in Yonkers. You can find all the information on my Instagram. On June 16th, I'm hosting the open mic at Bougie Brews in Yonkers. That's also on my Instagram for anyone that wants the info. All the exact info is on my Instagram, Bougie Brews, June 16th, featuring my young niece, Miss Fee Nolay, Phoenix Nolay. And, you know, this time of the year, we're actually in preparation, and we're going to kick off our Juneteenth celebration,
yes.
our annual, yes,
Yes,
our
we missed it last year because of
Juneteenth
COVID-19,
celebration.
unfortunately. Yes.
Yes.
So I know this year is
We're
going to be
kicking off
10 times better than what it has been the previous year. I'm excited. I just got goosebumps, like real talk.
And I'm so looking forward to seeing you perform, sis, because I see that you are an excellent news reporter, but I know you as the queen poet. You know what I mean? So
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
And,
excited.
Yeah, so Friday, June 18th, we're kicking off our annual Juneteenth celebration with our Pan-African flag raising,
Yes.
hosted by Yonkers African American Heritage Committee.
Yes.
And Saturday, we have our Youth Day, presented by Yonkers African American Heritage Committee and Project Inspire. And then on Sunday, June 20th, is our family affair, the big Juneteenth summer stage.
I'm so getting goosebumps. Like, it's not
Yeah.
even funny. Like, the vibe is just so beautiful. Everybody gets together. It's all love. It's all positive
family
energy.
affair.
Great food. I mean, from vegan food, because yes, I'm a vegan, so yeah, no, I have to express that. Vegan food, soul food, drinks, you know, healthy stuff, and just healthy environment, good energy, fun, love, and community. And I am so excited to see this event. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I thank you for coming here and sharing it. Everybody should definitely go out there on Juneteenth. So many people ask me to do other things, and I can't. Sorry, I'm going to Yonkers that day.
You know, it's going to be a celebration, and
Yes.
we got some special features coming out, and you know we got to do a tribute to the dog, DMX.
DMX, yes.
Mr. Earl
I'm so glad you
Simmons.
said that, because before we wrapped it up, I wanted to say that. Yes, go ahead, talk. Go ahead.
No. Actually, I can't give the people too much,
But we giving a
we're
tribute to
definitely
DMX. Okay, good,
yes, we're
good,
giving a tribute
good.
to Brother Earl, man.
Yes, Earl Simmons.
The legend, the
Okay.
the legend.
I know
The
we
legend.
gotta
I'm
wrap it up.
still
I have to go into commercial break, which is good anyway because we want to keep people on their toes. Tom Ray, you can find him on TRDAT, right? That's it, something like that.
TRDATSIT.
There we
TR, that's
go.
it.
TR, that's it. I appreciate you, my brother. Peace and blessings to you and the whole crew, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much.
Peace and love. Thank you.
All right. We're going to go into a commercial break. I'll be right back. I'm Kim Seabrook.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium TV 24. I'm Kim Seabrook, and next in news, workers are gaining leverage over employees right before our eyes. The relationship between American businesses and their employees is undergoing a profound shift. For the first time in a generation, workers are gaining the upper hand. The change is broader than the pandemic-related signing bonuses at fast food places. Up and down the wage scale, companies are becoming more willing to pay a little more to train workers, to take chances on people with traditional qualifications, and to show greater flexibility in where and how people work. The erosion of employee power began during the low unemployment years leading up to the pandemic, and given demographic trends, could persist for years. March had a record number of open positions, according to federal data that goes back to 2000. And workers were voluntarily leaving their jobs at a rate that matches its historical high. Burning Glass Technologies, a firm that analyzes millions of jobs listings a day, found that the share of postings that say no experience necessary is up 2/3 over 2019 levels, while the share of those promising a starting bonus has doubled. But the demographic picture is not becoming any more favorable for our employees eager to fill positions. Population growth for Americans between ages 20 and 64 turned negative last year for the first time in nation's history. The Congressional Budget Office projects that the potential labor force will grow mere 0.3 to 0.4% annually for the remainder of the 2020s. The size of the workforces rose an average of 0.8% a year from 2000 to 2020. An important question for the overall economy is whether employees will be able to create conditions attractive enough to coax back in some of the millions of working age adults not currently part of the labor force. Depending on the view of the causes, the end of expanded pandemic era jobless benefits might have an effect too. Some businesses may need to raise prices or retool how they operate, and others may be forced to close entirely. That's your business news. And next, what activities can unvaccinated children do? Advice from 828 experts as vaccinated Americans return to many parts of their pre-pandemic lives this summer. One group would be left out, children under 12 who cannot yet be vaccinated. So what should families with young children do when everyone else starts socializing again? So they asked the experts, as part of an informal New York Times survey, that the group of 828 who responded included epidemiologists who study public health and pediatric infectious disease physicians who research and treat children sick with diseases like COVID-19. They noted that this phase was temporary. Pfizer has said vaccines for children ages 2 and up could come as soon as September. Of the survey respondents with young children, 92% said they would vaccinate their own children as soon as a shot was approved. Only 5 said no, and some were undecided. In the meantime, families with young children may need to retain more precautions, like masking and distancing, than their childless friends do. But they said some minimally risk activities could help counteract the mental health effects of pandemic living. Kids need to be kids, said Mac McCullough. He's an associate professor at Arizona State. Outdoor activity is perfectly safe, but its benefits are likely to outweigh its risk across an entire population. New guidance from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that the vaccinated people can go almost everywhere without a mask. But what should families with unvaccinated children do, since it's impossible to know whether maskless people in public places are vaccinated? A slight majority said that despite the uncertainty, children could still go outside public places or be in outdoor crowds as long as they wore masks. Even as the experts urge continued caution until a pediatric vaccine arrives, they also emphasize that parents need to weigh the risk of continued social isolation. Overall, the experts were somewhat more concerned about the mental health consequences of the pandemic for children than its effect on their physical health. Isolation of children is detrimental to their mental and physical health, said Kevin Anderson. He's the leader of the COVID response team for the Colorado Department of Public Health. Finding safe ways to have children socialize and play needs our full attention while we continue to evaluate vaccine efficacy to this group. Okay, and next, another COVID side effect. Many kids head to summer school. School systems must devote some of the federal funding to deal with COVID-19's disproportionate effect on students from poor families, those whose first language is not English, members of minority groups, and those who are homeless or are in foster care. The expanded programs around the country have greatly increased the need not only for teachers, but for bus drivers, custodians, and cafeteria employees. Some North Carolina teachers will get a $1,200 bonus. There are also bonuses for teachers in certain grades whose students show improvement in reading and math. Elsewhere, a district in Anderson, South Carolina, has nearly doubled teachers' summer school pay to $60 an hour. Teachers and nurses in Spring Branch, Texas, are getting raises of up to 20%. That's awesome. In Mississippi, the Starkville-Oktibah school system raised teachers' hourly pay by $10 to $35 for the summer. Connecticut is promising 4,500 stipends to 500 college students who work at K-12 summer programs. New York City, the nation's largest school district with over 1 million youngsters, is offering summer school to all students, not just those falling behind. Our kids have been through so much, said Mayor Bill de Blasio, said in announcing that the plans and they need our support as we build a recovery for all of us. Philadelphia and San Diego are among others to announce district-wide eligibility. Chicago plans to vastly expand its programs. Yeah, kids want to be social. So normally kids would not go to summer school. But next we got a high court review men only draft registration law. The Supreme Court is being asked to decide whether it's sex discrimination for the government to require only men to register for the draft when they turn 18. So the question of whether it's unconstitutional to require men but not women to register could be viewed as one with little practical impact. The last time there was a draft was during the Vietnam War, and the military has been all volunteer since. But the registration requirement is one of the few remaining places where federal law treats men and women differently. And women's groups are among those arguing that allowing it to stand is harmful. The justices could say as soon as Monday whether they will hear a case involving the Military Selective Service Act, which requires men to register for the draft. Men who do not register can lose eligibility for student loans and civil service jobs. And failing to register is also offensively punishable by a fine up to $250,000 and 5 years in prison. Okay, but it's also sending a tremendously harmful message that women are less fit than men to serve their country in a particular way, and conversely, that men are less fit than women to stay at home as caregivers in the event of an armed conflict. So they demean both men and women, even if the draft is never used again. Retaining the men-only requirement sends a really damaging message, said Tabak Omar, who represents the National Coalition for Men, and 2 individual men challenging the law. A group of retired senior military officers and the National Organization for Women Foundation are among the others urging the court to take the case. And if the court agrees to take the case, arguments wouldn't happen until the fall at the earliest, and that's after the court's summer break. The court already has high-profile cases awaiting it then. They include a major challenge to abortion rights and an appeal to expand gun rights. And next in your entertainment, we have ex-child actor Drake Bell accused of child endangerment. My son used to watch him. One of the stars of the popular Nickelodeon children's show Drake and Josh faces criminal charges regarding a girl he had met online and who attended his 2017 concert in Ohio when she was 15. Jared Drake Bell, 34, pleaded not guilty on Thursday in a Cleveland courtroom to a felony charge of attempted endangering children and a misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. All facts will be revealed in a courtroom. Bell's attorney, Ian Freeman, said Friday, declining to comment further. Bell was charged by information, which typically indicates a plea agreement that has been reached. He is scheduled to appear before a judge on June 23rd. Tyler Sinclair, spokesman for Cayuga County prosecutor Michael O'Malley, said that the girl filed a complaint with Canadian police in October 2018. Police then contacted Cleveland police, prompting an investigation. One of the stars of the popular Nickelodeon children's show, Drake and Josh, faces criminal charges regarding a girl he had met online. And again, that was in 2017. And we are waiting to find out what's going on in that case. And let's see what we have next. And we're going to go back. Hold on. Again, they still stating that he has been harmful to juveniles and all facts will be revealed in a courtroom. Bell's attorney, Ian Freeman, said Friday, declining to, like I stated, a comment further. Bell was charged with information which typically indicates a plea agreement that he has been reached and is scheduled to appear for the judge on June 23rd. So again, that's Drake and Josh. And again, as I mentioned, he's from Nickelodeon. My son used to watch him, and it is disturbing to see kids who are in Hollywood and have to face these things, and you don't know what they go through as being a child actor, and then you see how they become as an adult. And next we have Gone Girl actor in critical condition after hit and run. Gone Girl and Cocktail actor Lisa Baines remained hospitalized in critical condition Saturday night after being injured in a hit and run accident in New York City, her manager said. Baines, 65, was struck by either a scooter or motorcycle in the Upper West Side of Manhattan near Lincoln Center on Friday evening as she was crossing Amsterdam Avenue on the way. And that is your news for the day. I am Kim Seabrook. You are watching Millennium TV 24, and we appreciate you, and we will see you next time. Thank you.